In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make an English style breakfast here in the northeast of India. What's going to be included in this breakfast is hash browns. They're going to be made out of these potatoes. I'm also going to be doing sausages that I bought locally. These are pork sausages. Also, I've got some bacon as well. I'm going to fry up a tomato because fried tomato is always very delicious if you get it just right. Fried eggs, baked beans, and usually I have spinach, but as a substitute, I'm going to be using these mustard leaves, which I found are a really good substitute. And then to top it off, I'm just going to be using the locally made bread for toast. So yeah, let's get into it. First up, we're going to be making hash browns. In order to do that, you're going to want to get a grater, and these will just make putting your potatoes into fine little pieces much easier. Now, at home in Australia, I usually have a grater that stands up by itself, unlike this, which is more like a washing board style grater. But we couldn't find that here, so this is, I suppose, the next best thing, and it's definitely better than nothing. So I'm just gonna grate these 5 potatoes that I have here, and then we'll go on to the next step. Alrighty, all done grating now. Now you'll notice if you have a look at that the potato is very starchy. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab some water and just let the potato soak in the water and wash away all that starch. I was just told by my director that it needs to be cold water, so I'm putting a few cubes of ice in to make it cold. Once you feel that the starch has been rinsed from the potato, rinse out the water, and then we're going to use the leftover potato to actually make the hash browns. So with our clean potato, the only problem is that there's still a lot of water in there. So just grab yourself a cloth or a tea towel or something, just something a bit permeable. Put all the potato in there, and then I'm just going to wrap it around like a little ball, and then that'll just let me squeeze out all of the water that's in there. Alright, there we go. And we should just be left over with some dry potato bits like that. Perfect. The next thing we're going to want to do is take these potato grates and fry them up. So I've got a pan on the heat here. Just going to put a drizzle of olive oil in there. Voila. I'm going to spread that around. And then I'm just going to put these in here. And I'm just going to let them fry in here for about 4 or 5 minutes. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Alright, see you in about 4 minutes. The potato's fried now. It's at a soft, warm consistency. And in order to make your hash brown mixture or hash brown patties, you're going to want these following things. So I've just grated some cheddar cheese here. And I've also finely grated half a small onion. Now here in Mizoram, it's hard to find white onion, so I've actually used a red onion as a substitute, but I think that's going to be okay. Some black pepper, some rock salt, some pink rock salt as well, and this here is garlic powder. And you also want about 2 tablespoons of flour. And we're just going to add those all in and mix them about. Now you should feel the cheese start to melt straight away. And the cheese and the flour will help the mixture just stick together. You can see there that the cheese is nicely melted across the mixture, and that should help everything stick together. So I'm just going to grab a small handful, and this will make up one hash brown for us. So just grab it, then flatten it out and shape it into the shape that you want your hash brown to be. I think I'm going to go for a bit of a rectangle there. How does that look?
Looks good.
So I'm going to do it for the rest of the mixture and we'll have our hash browns ready. So there they are, they're all done. Now, one thing I want to mention about when you're cooking a Western style breakfast is that everything needs to come out hot. So you need to think about what to cook in what order. So what I'm going to cook first is the meat, and the reason is because I can use one pan for the meat, and that's good. And the meat generally holds its heat for a lot longer than, say, compared to vegetables. So the meat goes first, and then in one pan I'm going to cook the vegetables and the baked beans as well. So those three will be in one pan, and then in the other pan, once the meat is done, I'm going to fry the eggs whilst cooking the hash browns at the same time. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just using a little bit of oil because the bacon and the sausage has its own fats in it. 1, 2. You want some, darling?
Yes, please. One.
You want one? Cool. Now the bacon's slightly frozen, but that's alright because the bacon's quite thin. Just wherever you find space, put it in the pan. And for these, I actually want to cook them in butter. I'm going to grab butter. A bit of butter, chuck it in. Just going to take off the leaves like that. I'm going to avoid putting the stalks in because they don't get soft. Now timing is everything, so you've got to keep an eye on both pans to make sure we're not burning anything. Okay, mix those around a little bit as well. A few more, I think. Now the thing with leaves is when you fry them, they always shrink, so you always got to put a bit more than you initially think in. But I think that's going to be good. What do you think? Good, looking good. Now this fat in here is going to make our hash browns so tasty. Okay, let's see how these are doing. That's looking good. So they're actually almost done. I'm going to chuck the tomatoes on now. Maybe it needs just a little bit more butter. Good. Looking good. I'm just laying down some paper towel, and the reason for that is just to kind of get rid of any of the excess oil. The greens are pretty much done now. Scoop them up into a little ball and take them all off at once. Now cook the bacon however you like it. I like it a bit crispy. Perfect. Yeah, I did a perfect job just then. Look at those tomatoes. See how they're just a little bit charred there? Voila! Tasty, tasty. Okay, so the sausages should be done about now. Take these off. The oils left behind by the bacon and sausage are going to do really nicely for these. Yummy, yummy. Sizzle, sizzle. Very nice. Okay, those tomatoes are nice and soft. I'm just going to bring the heat down on this pan here. I'll use this for eggs. Oh yeah, slippery sucker. Okay, great. I'll make sure I have my spatula ready for these. I'm going to keep an eye on how they're cooking. I'm going to bring this down to a bit of a lower heat now. And then I'll bring it back to a higher heat once I'm ready to flip them over. They should cook really fast. Well, technically baked beans are already cooked. You just need to heat them up. That's why they're called baked beans, right? Yeah, let's have a look at these hash browns. Looking golden. What do you think, a bit longer? A little bit greedy and put a little dab of butter in each one. Just because butter is so tasty. Alright, those baked beans should be warm. Let's take them out. Okay, voila. Okay, let's turn these hash browns over. They should be good. Okay, yeah, look at that. Nice and golden. That's how you want it. Probably give this one another flip. Now I'm going to bring the heat back up to make sure I get it nice and crispy on the other side. I'm going to just going to turn it off completely. The leftover heat will be more than enough to make sure the eggs get cooked. I'm happy with that. So let's take them off. And now that everything is pretty much cooked, the final two steps include presentation, so putting everything nicely on the plates, and then eating it, which I'm going to do off camera. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learnt something new today, how to make a English or Western style breakfast. I'm keen or interested to find out if you're going to try this out for yourself. And if you are, leave a comment below. Tell me how it went for you. And yes, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.